All right, everyone. So welcome and thank you for attending today's technical assistance webinar. This webinar is presented by Amity Foundation, acting as the third-party administrator for LA County's Care, Justice, and Opportunities Department and the CFCI Care Grants. These CFCI, or Care First Community Investment Grants, are the result of ballot measure J voted in by LA County residents in 2020. Care First Community Investment Funds are intended to be invested directly into communities and alternatives to incarceration that address negative outcomes caused by racially driven criminal legal system inequalities and long-term economic disinvestment. So if you have not filled out our pre-webinar survey that was sent out via email or put in the chat via the link, we do have the QR code. I hope it's pointing to where it is, but it is on the screen. We would greatly appreciate you filling it out. Today's webinar is being recorded. You do not have to be on camera. Understand that, however, if you are on camera, your image may be captured in the recording. Staying on the webinar represents your consent to being recorded. We do ask that everyone please mute themselves just so that we don't get any background noises. So today's session, we are revisiting cash flow. So whether you're a beginner or someone looking to refine your financial skills, this session is designed to help you understand the basics and importance of cash flow. So let's jump right in. And before we do, actually, we at Amity incorporate teachings that center the community before we begin our work. Today, we will use the LA County Land Acknowledgement to recognize the price paid by individuals that has resulted in efforts such as Care First Community Investment. We recognize that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tonva, Tataviam, Serrano, Quiche, and Chumash peoples. We honor and pay respect to their elders and descendants. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in the genocide of the First Peoples. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to truth, healing, and reconciliation, and to elevating the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. So, what is cash flow? Understanding cash flow is definitely the foundation of financial management. Cash flow represents the money moving through your business or personal finances, and it directly impacts your ability to pay bills, invest, and grow. So think of cash flow like the circulation system in the human body. Just as blood needs to circulate to keep you healthy, money needs to flow steadily in and out of your accounts in order to keep your finances in good shape. If more money is going out than coming in, you may run into problems like late payments, overdraft fees, or even bankruptcy. By understanding the different types of cash flow, operating, investing, financing, you can get a complete picture of where your money is coming from and where it is going. This knowledge is definitely essential for making informed financial decisions. So why is cash flow important? So managing cash flow effectively allows you to maintain financial stability and avoid financial stress. Many profitable businesses and individuals struggle financially not because they lack income, but because they don't manage their cash flow properly. So let's say that you run a bakery. You might have great sales, but if you don't manage your expenses, such as ingredient costs, rents, employee wages, you could find yourself short on cash, even though your business is doing so well. Similarly, for personal finance, having a steady income doesn't always guarantee financial success if you spend beyond your means. So understanding cash flow helps you plan ahead, make better financial decisions, and ensure you always have enough cash on hand to cover your obligations. So how to track cash flow, because it can get really tricky. We actually have a great tool on our Amity and You website. Our finance team worked on a cash flow Excel document sheet that it really is super useful. I encourage you to go onto our website and look at it, because tracking cash flow is one of the most important financial habits you can develop. Whether you use a detailed cash flow statement, an app, or a simple spreadsheet, the goal is to know exactly how much money is coming in and going out. A cash flow statement is typically used in most businesses, but individuals can benefit from this tool as well. Budgeting apps are great for automating the tracking process and linking directly to your bank accounts, such as um, QuickBooks. QuickBooks does an amazing job at linking all of your accounts into one centralized location and really giving you up to date, like in real time, um, budget versus actuals. You just have to literally push like maybe 3 buttons and it's just like run report the dates and go. Um, it also categorizes your expenses. So you're able to make your own buckets and put what goes where. For those who prefer a more hands-on approach, manually tracking cash flow using a spreadsheet can provide deeper insights into spending patterns and habits. Whichever method you choose, the key is consistency. Regularly reviewing your cash flow allows you to spot potential problems early and adjust your spending or saving habits accordingly. So forecasting cash flow helps you plan for the future and it avoids financial surprises because that's the last thing we want, right? Think of it like weather forecasting. If you know a storm, let's just say financial shortfalls, is coming, you can prepare in advance to minimize the damage. A good cash flow forecast allows businesses to plan for inventory not purposes, but purchases. So inventory purchases, payroll, unexpected expenses like taxes. It also, in personal finance, forecasting definitely helps you determine whether you can afford a big purchase like a vehicle, a home, plan for a vacation, or invest in new opportunities. The key is to update your forecast regularly to reflect changes in income and expenses. The more accurate your forecast, the better prepared you will be. So, improving your cash flow management skills is an ongoing process. So, definitely learning about finances and financial literacy, it's not something that we are taught, right? Unfortunately, it's not something that is given to us while we're in school, unless we decide to enroll in a college course wanting to learn about cash flow. So definitely I recommend always, how can we learn more about this, especially as we go into April, and April is Financial Literacy Month. There's a lot of resources available to deepen your understanding, such as books like Profit First and The Total Money Maker. Their overall practical advice on managing cash flow is really useful. There's also online courses on platforms such like Udemy and Coursera, or even LinkedIn University, the little learning on LinkedIn is super helpful and it can provide structured learning for individuals. And it has classes or courses from a beginner stage all the way to like an expert. I'm a big fan of blogs. So blogs such as Investopedia and NerdWallet offer free articles on financial management. They definitely come out pretty regularly as well. They usually will have some like a new article, if not weekly, definitely bi-weekly or monthly. They are very well at having articles on different topics as well. Um, if not for your nonprofit, definitely personal finance information is on those websites. So I definitely recommend you to at least go and check it out. Some perusing, it never hurts. And of course, by viewing our three previous cash flow webinars. So in December, we actually had um, three webinars all on cash flow, and they're about, I want to say, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but they're so informative. Our finance team really dove in deep to really help explain cash flow. And as I said, they have Excel sheets on our Amity and You website that are extremely helpful as well. And then, of course, if you need personalized guidance, always consider, you know, how can we or how can you consider hiring a financial advisor or an accountant. I definitely always recommend looking at your budgets, seeing where can you possibly find some wiggle room, right? These professionals can analyze your specific situation and offer tailored strategies to improve your cash flow. So we are going to go into a breakout session because I am loving these breakout sessions and I want you guys to really mingle and talk to one another. But we are going to go into small groups to forecast cash flow for a fictional business. You could also, if you want to use your personal nonprofit, you could do that too. But look closely at income versus expenses and see if any months might have a negative cash flow. So give yourself a scenario. So you're given a business with income and expenses data. So create a 3 month or even a 1 month cash flow forecast. Forecast what your expenses are for your organization. And the goal is to identify potential cash shortfalls and propose solutions. So in your small groups, you can either come up with a fictional business, you can put up your own nonprofit, or you guys can look at your individual circumstances and talk about what potential cash for shortfalls you may hit in the future and think about solutions within one another. Challenge how you may find the ways to manage them and what potential risks there would be. Would you cut expenses? Would you find new revenue sources? Would you adjust, numbers on your budget? The goal is to think strategically about maintaining a healthy cash flow. So I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to put this on pause. All right, so it seems like we have people back. So did anyone want to share potential pitfalls that their organization or that their fictional business might foresee?
Yeah, I can share from our group, Mina.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Any other group members jump in with anything. So our hypothetical company had $56,000 remaining in our bank account. Our burn rate was about $20,000 a month. Our next check wasn't coming until 3 months later, so we were going to be about $4,000 short for the expenses. So we talked about the things that we could do to make sure that that doesn't become a crisis. Certainly cutting costs, and if we can, increasing our fundraising efforts, maybe going to our board members and saying like, hey, we're going to be short $4,000. Can you give your give or get early? Um, if we're waiting for donors to pay, and they're either running late or we're not sure when it's coming, we could call the donors and just be like, hey, just wanting to confirm like when our next payment is received. And then Dorian had a great suggestion too of like making sure that all of our quarterly reports are done on time so that we know 45 days later, we're hopefully gonna, get a check, if that's the agreement that we have. So we just talked about different ways that we could make sure that that $4,000 doesn't become a crisis, and mostly by communicating, whether with our donors, letting our board members know that this situation is coming up, to see if they could help, or definitely fundraising. So that was.
I love it. Thank you so much, Beth. You guys did amazing. Did anyone else want to share?
Actually, I do. Our group didn't really necessarily get to the scenario because one of the looming issues that's, I guess, facing us as a reality is that some of us do receive federal funding, and we don't know what's, you know, happening with that. I'm a local affiliate who's part of an international network who has been affected by federal funding. Like we've been told to well, the network has been told like to stop grant writing. Person who was in the room with us also said she received the same messaging. I think it was Vanita. Um, and so I think like that's also
Anita.
a very like with the hypothetical situation. I mean, it's great to play with that, but like also understanding that we have this very real situation that's looming in front of us is kind of difficult to come up with an idea when we don't know if federal funding will be available to us, which will make all of us have to scramble for private foundations and other ways of funding that will put a strain on all of us.
Yeah, it's the real reality that a lot of organizations are facing right now is, those federal funds are getting cut. So definitely thank you, Erica and Vanita. I think I said that correctly, for sharing. Because it's definitely something that is very real and scary. So thank you for sharing. So as we continue into this, let me share. Sorry. There we go. So, final takeaways that I want you to take away from this presentation is that cash flow is definitely the movement of money in and out, whether it's from your personal or your business budget. And positive cash flow ensures financial stability.
Oh yeah, we have to wait on the
Just put
kids.
everyone on mute. Um, like positive cash flow again ensures financial stability. Forecasting helps prevent cash shortages. It supports better financial planning. But as someone stated, you could do all the forecasting that you want, and sometimes it just can still come up short. Using the right tools makes cash flow management definitely easier. But reach out if you need assistance with anything. At the end of the day, that's why we are here at Amity, is to help you and to plan for the future, however we may help or direct you in the right direction. We want to assist you in being able to, understand cash flow, because it can be a very difficult, not difficult, but it can be very scary to look at a cash flow Excel and not fully understand anything from it. So that does bring us to the end of our presentation. The QR code for our post survey is there. We also do have Lorenzo on the webinar with us. If anyone had any questions, now is your time. We would definitely be able to answer any questions that you have. Again, the QR code is right there. Oops. The QR code was there. There it is. The QR code for the post-webinar survey is there. I will drop the link in the chat in a couple of minutes. But does anyone want to come off mute and have a question for us?
I have a question, Mina. This is Crystal Mitchell from Pete Brown Junior Tennis Program.
in addition to, and I don't know if you guys are going to have a conversation about this because what the young ladies were speaking of is a real thing with the federal grants, but as well as um, there were there are over 200 words that have been banded by the current administration, which could be challenging if any of those words appeared in the grants that they have written, which referred to any of those. So the way the algorithms is probably set up is to tag those words before they even get to. So is that something you guys are going to have a presentation on for those that are and I even think that could affect um, your exemption status as well.
Yeah, we haven't had those conversations of having a webinar on that, but if you could please put that in the survey, we can
Okay.
definitely look into how can we bring that.
Okay.
Because that would be a great webinar to have, and it would be definitely very informative.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to drop the link. Let me just make sure that it's the correct one. Yes, it is. Okay. Um, and someone did ask, can we get a list of those words?
You want me to send
Um,
it to you or you want me
yeah.
to? Okay.
Crystal, can you email it to me and we can add it into our bulletin for everyone
I
to see?
certainly will.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Did anyone have any questions for Lorenzo, Mr. Finance Guru over here? Since he is here, it's your chance. No? Oh, Lorenzo's escaping with no questions. Okay, totally fine. Alrighty then. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Please fill out our post survey. If you have any webinar topics, please post them in that survey. We do utilize those surveys in order to bring you the next month's webinars. Next month, we will be sending singular invites with the topic of the webinar as the header to better forecast all of our webinars to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.